So in this video, we're going to work through the interior. There's some gremlins I got to work through with wiring and some other things. We're going to install a new radio and a backup camera. And we discovered that the car's got some JDM stuff on it that I didn't know it had. I don't think the guy I bought it from knew it had. So stick with me and we'll work through everything. I've been working on the interior of the car off camera a lot, trying to figure out little bugs and things. One of the things that I had to do was I went ahead, I've already got it back together. I pulled the fuel and temp gauges out and sent them out to be repaired. I just got them back last week. I just finally had some time to put them back in. I'm going to show y'all. Now I don't have all the streaky lines and everything shows up like it's supposed to. So now I can put the cover piece back on over here. 2 owners ago put that skull shifter on here and he cut the end off of here. I have a bolt that fits this for the new shift knob that I'm gonna put on here. I'm gonna cut the head off the bolt, stick it in here, weld it to this, so I have something to screw the new shift knob to. The other thing that I was working on was the speakers. So I have matching speakers in the front doors now. When I threw the other door panel on, I forgot I didn't put a speaker in there, but I wasn't getting any sound out of anything. What I found was they had, so this is all my crimps. They had all that wiring right there, I guess to go to an amp, ran through the car whenever there was carpet in here, under the carpet. And so that's where the hookups for the 2 front speakers were at. Well, I did away with that and went back to the stock wiring. So I now have sound out of the front. I also have sound out the back, but I had to add wiring because all the wiring was missing for back here. Luckily, I went through my big box of wires over there from one of my parts cars, and I actually had, you see right there where I crimped it, the same color wires from the car, and it's the same, and all twisted together because that was audio wire. Same thing over here. It's the blue and the silver that matched. And I got nice crimps on everything, spade connectors, so it all works now. I'll probably get some wire loom and clean this up and zip tie it up, but for now it works. The other thing I was messing with inside the car were the controls for the power mirrors, because if you look, so I'm gonna switch it to the left, right? That should be in the left mirror. Nothing. This is the right mirror. Old boy ran his own wires for this for some reason. I don't know why. And he wired the left and right controls backwards. Because now it's set to right. So I just got to figure out which wire back here controls the left and right and fix it. Swap them around and that'll be fixed. I also discovered that the antenna is a JDM power antenna. No, the car came with a power antenna from factory, but this one's JDM. It has the half mast option. That's why the center console, that's sitting back there has a button for half mast in it. So the dude was trying to put some JDM parts on here. But anyways, the other thing that I got to figure out is why this window will not roll up and down over here. Let's see. So this window does not work. The lock button works. Somewhat. It doesn't lock, but it unlocks, which is a plus. So I gotta figure out, last 2 things I gotta figure, well, there's 3 things technically in here I gotta figure out. For whatever reason, these tweeters aren't getting any sound out of them. And this window, and I gotta fix the shifter, and I gotta run wires. I guess it's 4 things. I gotta run wires for that power window in the back. Been doing a lot of research trying to figure out this power mirror switch, and from what I've gathered, And I did a Google search to verify, like looking at another one. Pretty sure this is a JDM power folding mirror switch. So I gotta find a wiring schematic for that to follow so I can fix the backwards wires the guy had. But the power folding doesn't work because the relay is missing. And if you see that green plug right there, that's the plug for that relay. So I'm gonna have to order the relay so all this will work correctly, because I haven't found it in this car. So and I got the tweeters working. I had to swap them out, use whatever brand this was. The other ones were Rockford Fosgates and they wouldn't work. I didn't have a spade connector, so I just took one of the little dual tang connectors and I cut it to fit in here for a temporary spade, and they work now, so that's a plus. But the radio, I'm not getting good signal on the radio, so can't really, I mean, I can hear a static coming through it, so that works. When the CD that was in here was reading, now it's not, I don't know. So next thing I'm gonna work on, I think I'm gonna do the shifter real quick, get this out the way. Once I get that out the way, then I'll go back to figuring out why that window on that side doesn't go up and down. This is the bolt I found that fits the shift knob. And I don't know if I showed y'all the new shift knob yet, but it's pretty nice. It's a hybrid racing Delrin plastic knob with a stainless weighted core. It's pretty good. It's got a magnetic shift boot base. And there it is. If I can get the thread in, I know the thread's in. There it goes. Yeah, so that's the right thread pitch. So I just need to lob the head of this bolt off and get this washer off of here, and then I can weld this in place. So I went ahead and threaded the bolt into the shifter. So what we're gonna do now, I mean, it's gonna sit pretty much like that. It's gonna be in a good position to put your hand on. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the Sharpie and I'm gonna mark the threads right at the bottom of that shift collar. That'll be the height that I tack it in here at. All right, I got it marked. See, right about there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out and get my welding stuff set up, and we'll tack weld this thing in. I feel like it's leaning back, but it's technically following the angle that the stock shifter has been at. So the weld isn't the prettiest, but no one will ever see it with the shift boot and the shifter on. So I'm really not worried about it at all. I think the biggest thing is that, you know, it doesn't break off, which I don't think it will. And oh, I forgot where I was going with that. Anyways, I want to upgrade this eventually to a RSX shifter, because apparently you can put the RSX shifter in here. You just need an adapter plate, which I can make an adapter plate. That's not a problem. We'll let that cool off for a little bit, and then we'll throw the we'll set the center console in here and check all the fitment and everything. I'll thread the shift knob on there. So it's cooled off now. So I'm gonna set this on there. Aha, the gloriousness. Anyway, it does look pretty good, and it feels really good in the hand. So that's one thing down. Got that fixed, and I can install the shifter when I go back. I still got to put all the dash back together right here. I might do that in a second. I'm gonna have to order that relay, see if any of the power for the folding stuff actually works. All right, now that we got the shift knob taken care of, we're gonna move on to the passenger window not rolling up and down. I went and looked up some wiring diagrams, but I had to take pictures on because I couldn't get my printer to print, so I'm just gonna show y'all what I was testing. I already checked the fuses under the dash to the right of the camera, to the right of my phone, and it says this blue-green wire right here that I have my test light in should be for up. So it's trying to send power, and then the blue-yellow one, we'll flip this around, you can't really see it, it's right here. That's supposed to be the down switch, and it's not doing anything. So I'm gonna go to the other side, and I'm gonna check the same wires on that switch and at the motor and see what's going on. I took my I took my test light. I took my test light and I checked it. The switch is showing that it's sending power both times, every time I send up and down. And it's getting power here, and I didn't check it on this side of the plug, but this is the cord going to the electric motor. And I got this alligator clip right here with a long wire running all the way back to the battery, and I tried applying power straight to the electric motor, and it does nothing. So I'm thinking the motor went out. Yeah, because look, it's hot right now and it ain't doing nothing. Order a motor for this door. Hopefully that fixes that. I'm gonna order the module that plugs into this for the power folding mirrors, so we can see that works. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the interior that I need to do. I still gotta zip tie that up, which I'm not even gonna video that. Now we gotta put all this back together. Ooh, I do have a picture of the schematic for the switch, so I can get the left-right function sorted out. And I have the wiring harness. I have a picture of the schematic for the rear power antenna. Make sure that's all sorted out correctly. I would like to change the radio and put a double DIN in. For multiple reasons. I would like to have Apple not Apple. I don't have an iPhone. I would like to have Google CarPlay so I could use my Google Maps on my radio and not on my phone all the time. And for a backup camera, because I would like to get these windows retinted, because I don't know what's on here now. It's very, very light, whatever it is. It doesn't have any darkness to it at all. It's just like clear film, pretty much. But I might just slip it all together, put it back together for now. Mount the radio frame back in there and just not put the radio back in. I ain't really made any progress on this wiring situation other than I got the half mast controls for the antenna wired in. I'm just go ahead and say that I don't know what's up with it. The antenna's sticking out about that far already. I'm assuming that the motor might be bad on that antenna. You know, nature of the beast being an older vehicle. But I do have my green and red wire ran to signal to the plug for the signal from the switch. I found a 12 volt right here, right by it, and from another plug. I just spliced into that. And then it goes to ground right here. So, I mean, there's some of this shit kind of looks a little janky. I don't know what old boy was thinking when he did some of this. He probably wasn't thinking, especially when it came to this. I tried swapping, like what I saw in the wiring diagram. It showed that the yellow and the green was for the left, and the green and blue was for the right. And I tried swapping them, and that got me nowhere except for having only my left mirror worked on left or right setting, which was weird. So I put it back like it was, and it's just going to be the way it's going to be, I guess, until I decide to rewire it all one day, which I might. We'll strip the rest of the dash out, possibly go through and route the wires a little bit better, and maybe with some better correct gauge wiring too, because this one wire is like super thick compared to what it's hooked to. Okay, so I decided to do a little bit of tidying up before I put the console back together. I actually took the 2 wires for this power pole plug. They're in this loom. Y'all can probably even see it. It's hanging down a little bit right here if I pull on it, but I pulled it tight against the top. I zip tied it off over here, and I cut the wires at the plug, redid them, and I ran the wires behind the frame instead of it just laying in here. Yeah, that's the loom for it right there. And I started zip tying everything up, making it a little tidier under here, because all these wires everywhere was driving me nuts. So yeah, anyways, it's a lot better than what it was. And I accidentally pulled one of the wires for the power mirror off, and I put a little solder crimp on it because it was going to be easier to get in there with that than with my actual crimps. So with all that being done, I think I'm ready to put this back together now. So I'm gonna get to work on that. So I may not have put the center console back in yet. I let my OCD get ahead of me, and I had to do some cable management because it was just driving me bonkers. Because I did not like the fact that he had those wires run on the other side, not with all the rest of them, and how everything was just spilling everywhere like a big pile of spaghetti. So here you go. I rerouted those 2 wires. They're no longer on this side. They come through back here underneath, and then they just join the group of zip tied wires. And then I zip tied these back to where it's a little bit neater and everything. So it's all a lot neater. It's still a mess, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot better than what it was. Because I mean, I'm telling you, like y'all saw in a minute ago, there was just wires hanging everywhere. The only thing I wish I could fix is how he's got these ran right here. I'm not even going to go this deep into it right now. Like I said, I would like to rewire this with some actual, like, maybe get me a parts car for the rest of the interior, and then rob a bunch of wiring out of that car to fix all of this mess, you know? Because there was no need to, like, run all these extra wires for these power mirrors. From everything I'm seeing online, there was one wire that was different in the power mirrors, and that was the one for the folding, which is this wire on the end right here, this blue and yellow wire, number 1 pin on this plug. That's the only wire that's different. They said that the plugs themselves are the same, so there's no reason for that dude to chop this off right here. I would like to fix that eventually, but right now I'm not putting that much effort into figuring this out. It works. I'm gonna leave it be. We're gonna move on. Because I could sit here for hours and days redoing all this stuff, because it does irritate me. But for right now, I just need to get this thing mobile and on the road. I'm gonna do what I originally said I was gonna do. I'm gonna put the freaking center console back together real quick, and then we'll move on to something else. So some stuff came in that I've been waiting on. Also, before I get to that, if you notice a quality difference in the video from here out, the first part was done on my phone. The second part of this video from here on is done with the GoPro I just bought. I finally bit the bullet and bought me a new GoPro. I got a 13 Black, so this should be going a lot better now. Ordered a nice double din. This was actually over half off, and it does everything I could want plus more. And I got a nice backup camera here. And to my surprise, I opened this the other day. I thought it was going to be plastic. It's actually aluminum. Pretty nice. Code for the Prelude. And let me excuse the mess everywhere. I've been here, there, and everywhere with different things between working on my truck and trying to work on the Prelude. But very nice stereo. Look at all the hookups in the bag. This thing got a ton of hookups. So what I'm probably gonna do first, the new window motor came in for the Prelude as well. But what I'm probably gonna do first is we're gonna hook up the stereo and this backup camera and get that out the way, because I mean, that's a simple install. I know the window motor should be a simple install, but I plugged it in the other day, the new motor, and it still didn't do anything. So I might have to do a little more digging on that. And I'd rather have a lot more time to diagnose and just knock this out real quick. So we're gonna take care of this real quick. One of the things that they sent me free of charge was the installation kit stuff. So first thing I'm gonna do, we're gonna spend a little time, we're gonna crimp all the wiring together. So now we got the wiring harness done. I'm gonna go take the dash apart in the car real quick and get back with y'all. I got the center console tore apart. I went ahead and popped the other install kit out for the single bin with the pocket. I'm gonna go grab my new camera, I'm gonna go grab the new double din, bring it in here, we're gonna plug it in, I'm gonna put some power to it. See how everything, make sure everything functions right. And then we're gonna get the install kit and put this thing together. All right, let me turn the key on. Oh, no way. The freaking power antenna just cut on. I guess it was that other radio. It probably, oh, I don't have the radio cord plugged in, hang on. That might prove to be helpful. Yeah, turn it off before I get hit with copyright on that. But now you know it works. I got to unplug it and everything, so I'm not gonna get too involved with setting time and everything. But hang on a second. Where's the button at? No way. All right, so you see the antenna? I'm gonna hit the half mast button. So that's all the way. That's half mast. What? Okay, that's cool as hell. I didn't think it worked because it didn't do anything with the other radio installed. Next thing I'm gonna work on is gonna be running the wires for this backup camera. So we gotta run this wire from here to the back of the car. And I wanna make sure I got enough length up here. So I'm gonna run it right here with on the side of all this. And I'm gonna tuck it up under this center console. I mean, this installation is gonna be pretty straightforward. So I don't have any carpet in the car. So we're just gonna feed it up under here the best I can. And there should be plenty of slack up here. Yeah, there should be plenty of slack. And I got the camera right here. Let's go to the back real quick. Two rusty big Phillips head screws. Got that there. I get a Phillips head screwdriver. We'll pop these out, take a little VTEC deal off of here. And probably route this wire past this light right here up into the trunk housing back here and try to feed it down through here and come out and go down this arm. So I think it should be open-ended. It is. I don't know, that might not be a good. I might need to come down and zip tie it to it and let it branch off and go through the hole like alongside this power wire. That might be a better idea. What y'all doing? What y'all doing, huh? What y'all doing? Y'all having fun outside? They checking out everything I'm doing. They all up in my business. Oh. Would y'all move? Come on. Come on. Move. Yeah, it's gonna be this one. Alright. Well, no more LOL VTech. Let's set that down there. I might put that in the back glass. Troll people with it a little bit. These crusty big screws here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to put anything in there but probably these big screws back. So we're gonna shove it through this hole right here where the license plate's at. Light is at. And we should. Maybe not. Hang on a second. I gotta rethink something here. Take this light off. Do that. I'm gonna go through right here. Yeah, that'll work perfect. Go through right here where the license plate light is at. There we go, that'll be perfect. Right there. Perfect. And you can't see, I didn't have to drill a hole. Get them big ugly ass screws. Put this in here for temporary. That looks about where I wanted it. I'm gonna snug these little screws up on the bottom with it aimed about right there. So that way we can, I think that should be close to where I want it. Screwdriver's probably a little too big for this. That should be good enough. Hook this up there, and I just need to figure out which wire powers the reverse lights back here. Let me turn the key on, throw the car in reverse so we can see which one. I'll get my test light. They didn't cut on. Well, maybe the bulb is burned out. So this actually it's this green and black wire. Nope. I got nothing. nothing. That's the correct wire, but I have no power. So that's going to be another issue in itself. All right. Sorry if it feels like I'm jumping around. I wanted to come up here and try and get the radio installed into the dash real quick now that I have the wires for the, where'd it go? Backup camera ran. They're right here. And I was trying to figure out where the hell it wants me to get what this power wire is for. Part of the reason I wanted to get it installed in the dash, because the instructions are not very clear for this, so I might have to go look at the install video. And there's a red wire in the back just like this. But also I got to figure out why the backup lights are not cutting on. I don't know if it's a bad, I'm definitely not getting power, so I need to find a fuse or something for that. So there's no, in the instructions in here, so it lists the prelude, not A901, but if you go in the back, it doesn't tell you. And also this same dash corresponds to an Accord. Whatever reason, that year model Accord and this year model Prelude are not in the manual. So I ended up looking it up online, and the manual's laid out a little different. And I went back and looked in the manual that came with it, and it pretty much showed, it wasn't very clear, but basically I needed to take this and clip everything off of it. Clip the center, the little center rib right here off, and file it down. That's why it looks like it does now. It's been filing on it and making sure nothing sticks up bad on the back side, not bad high. And you put these little spacer plates in there like so. So I'm gonna try this out again real quick. Hopefully it fits this time. I couldn't get it in. I was trying to see if I can get it in without having to file that stuff down. That doesn't work. So let me I'll get back with you in just a moment. I was able to get it in, and let me pop it out and show y'all. But I had to cut them upper ears off over here too, and let me tell you, that thing is in there tight. That is a tight fit in this kit that they sent me. Very tight. Like, I was like scared I was gonna break the radio trying to get it in. But I've been trying to figure out the wiring with the backup camera, and I can't get it to switch on. So it took me a minute to figure out the camera wiring. I mean, it's the simplest thing, but I've never hooked one up. So, and I missed it on the radio's wiring, so I've been sitting here messing with it, trying to figure out why I wasn't getting a picture. And my radio has a pink wire coming off that third little plug I had that's for the backup camera signal. So here it is. It's all, I don't have it like completely put back together obviously, but here it is. I had, let me just put on some random I'll put on some random YouTube video to play some sound for y'all, but it sounds pretty good. I put on a Mighty Car Mods video.
If you're sharing a hotel room with friends, you're also sharing.
You know it's unlucky frying your ECU right at the end of an absolutely massive build. But do you know it's lucky? Every single one of you winning a prize. That's right. At the Mighty Car Mods prize table. It's a lucky dip.
So, as you can see over here, it sounds pretty good. Let me swap y'all to this other mount, and I'll go to the back and activate the backup camera. I still got to splice the wires into the reverse light back here, so with the light will power the camera. But I got to figure out why I'm not getting any power to the light. It might just be the switch on the transmission that's bad. But we'll get to that later. I'm going to still wire it up, and I know it'll work. I figured out my reverse light dilemma. Well, the yellow wire was broke off from the green wire, the solder was broke off from the switch. So I went ahead and broke the yellow wire off, and I just connected them together just so I could complete the circuit, so I could see what was going on. And as you can see, they do work. So I'm gonna wire in the the camera light. I'm gonna wire in the camera to the lights and then recheck it after that. There, it looks really good with the dash and everything. And I set the LEDs to be green, like the dash, whenever it comes on. Oh, it didn't go on fire. There we go. So everything kind of matches a little bit. And like I said, I figured out the backup camera issue with the reverse, with it going in reverse and the light's not coming on. I need a new reverse switch. And I think that's pretty much it for this. Now I'm gonna move on to this window. Like I said in the beginning of this part, it still isn't doing anything, no matter what side I use. I probed the wires at both locations and I was getting power everywhere. It's just it wasn't activating the motor. It could be a switch issue. I saw where some guys said they took apart the switches and cleaned the contacts. I may try that. I don't know, I'm gonna try one other thing real quick. So as you can see, I got it working. It makes some crazy noises in the process of going up and down, but it's working. So I did put the new motor in here, which it didn't need. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I'm gonna show you what I did to test the motors. So I saw this on a forum post. I took the switch out of here and I popped the piece that you push to make the window go up and down. There's two little copper strips in there that make the contacts, and I cleaned everything inside of here with a Scotch-Brite, and it still didn't work. So then I went and took the master switch off the driver's side, cleaned it, and then it started working. But for whatever reason, I can't get it to roll up on that side. I was gonna throw this door panel back on, but I gotta wait for this relay to come in, because I have to put the door panel back off to put this relay on. But I can put the driver's side on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and be done with that. And that'll be one less thing I gotta do later. I know I got a mess all inside the car I gotta clean up from doing all the radio and all the wire cleanup under the dash and stuff. I'll show y'all how I tested this motor out. So here's the old motor. I got these alligator clips over here hooked to the battery, and I just hooked the negative to one of the prongs inside the motor, and I just very carefully, oh, it turned on me. You gotta be, no, this ain't for the light-hearted to reach down here with, because you can arc these two together. But see, it works. I just went ahead and put the new one in just because. I'm gonna hang on to this one though. Way simpler fix. I could have fixed it for free technically, but oh well. I got a new motor on that side, and I got a spare in case it ever goes out. So all right, I took the switch back apart and cleaned it again just to try and see if I can get it to work. So it goes down just fine. You got to kind of play with it when you push it. Well, now it wants to work every time going up. What the heck? Well, a minute ago I had to like try it 2 or 3 times and finally it would go. You made a liar out of me, Switch. How dare you? So that's gonna be it for this video. I'm still waiting on the relay to come in. It's coming in from some island, so it's got to come through customs and everything, so I know it's gonna be a while. But for the most part, everything I wanted to get done in here is done. There's gonna be things throughout time I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and piece this interior back together and stuff. But I'm gonna jump back onto doing engine work. I know the car runs and everything right now as of the last video, but there are a few more upgrades I want to put on that I haven't installed yet. So it was kind of like I wanted to break it into tiers, like, you know, all the intake and fuel and everything, and I got some oil leaks I want to take care of, so I got gaskets to change and for that. So that's all part of that. But anyways, if you like the video, hit the like and subscribe button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Suggestions, what likes, loves, hates, whatever. And stay tuned for the next video.